Hello, Brandon Miracle.
Hello, John Cartwright.
How are we today?
Oh, I'm fabulous.
Grand. I am, however, angry
Oh,
because this current era of game consoles would rather us live in this vanilla bland state with nothing going on. Like you turn on your PS5, and where are all the themes? Where have they gone? Where are the folders that PS4 had? You turn on your Switch, you go to themes, it's black and white. You can't customize your console in the way you used to be able to in the past. And all this flavor and dressing has been around for decades at this point. And before we get into themes and folders and all that, I first want to go all the way back to when console menus really became a thing, with around the PS1, PS2 era. And the first thing you could do before putting a disc in was just check your saves on a memory card. And every game had a bespoke memory card icon. And on PS1, they were just kind of small JPEGs, just nothing really. But on PS2, they made like a bespoke model for every single game. And a few developers cheaped out and made like just a rotating logo or something. But the vast majority of them just made these really charming, low poly models. And it was just literally just for the save file. You had to go out of your way to find it, but there's so much charm in all of those.
I would love to know like how much development time went into these in particular, because some of them are like really detailed. I'm just going through and clicking on random. Romance of the Three Kingdoms X just has a dude lifting 2 dumbbells repeatedly, and I don't know. It's just really charming.
I love the in Sonic Gems collection. They have save files for every core game in there. So Sonic the Fighters, Sonic R, Sonic CD. The Sonic R one's hilarious because obviously every game on that memory card icon has to be really low poly because it has to be really small in data. And so they've taken like the lowest poly Sonic may have ever been and put them in this model. And there's this great website called PS2 IOB. Sorry, PS2 IOBD. PS2 IOBD. And you're able to look at all these icons and rotate them around. So please check out this horrifically low poly Sonic. He's adorable in a very scary way.
I am currently looking at Love Mahjong Simple 2000 Ultimate Series Volume 5 Love Mahjong. That's the whole title, classic. By the way. And it's just a chibi bikini lady walking and with giant eyes and staring deeply into my heart.
I'd like to take your attention to Tekken Tag Tournament a moment. Because some of these save files have different states. So with Tekken Tag Tournament, you've got the normal state, which is just swaying her hips around. But then you go to the copy state, and she's celebrating, like, oh, you're copying the file, yay, you're putting another memory card. And then you go to the delete one, and she is weeping for her life. Please do not delete me, she says.
You're going to murder her.
Yeah, there's a few games like this. A few of them would change the state depending on what you're doing. Dragon Quest VIII's another really cool one as well. It's just a slime bobbling around. But when you go to delete him, he starts shaking to his core.
I'm not a bad slime. Slurp.
Another really cool one is Shadow Hearts. I think it's the second one, Shadow Hearts Covenant. The save file changes depending on how far you are in the game. So if you just like make a save and don't do anything, you get a generic one. But if you're quite far into the game, you get 2 different characters together. If you're further on, you get more characters. And it also gives you a different save file icon depending on whether you get the good or bad ending. So you get like an eternal state of what you did on there. So it was rare for games to have multiple states or multiple save file stuff, but whenever it did, it was really cool and really special. And I definitely overlooked it. This is an art form I've been rediscovering recently. Because who thinks about this stuff? But it's super cool when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play a lot of PS2 growing up, but I did have a GameCube, and GameCube had save icons. Not nearly like to this level. They were just images most of the time. But I did remember, like, after I would accumulate a couple games, I'd be like, oh, I should go see what the memory card icons look like. And I always had fun just seeing what they were. Sometimes they were, like, more interesting. Other times they were just like, it's the smash symbol, and it doesn't move.
Yeah. A lot of the time they had text on them, too, with GameCube. Like, they have little descriptions or, like, tags of the game. That was kind of neat, just to see what they would throw in there.
Yeah, but you're right. This really is kind of like a lost art form. There's so much character here that we don't get in our modern consoles. Like now when I look at a save for a game that I have, it's just buried in a menu. And it asks me, do you want to download your save data? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah, and you never really need to worry about it either, because save files are like the last thing you delete. Like, in current-gen systems, the game's what you delete. But back on PS2 and GameCube, save data was a luxury, you know? You had to clear up that space sometimes. There were many times where I had these beloved games, and I'd have to delete them to make room for other games. And that's also less of a problem now because aftermarket memory cards come in like 64 megabytes, 128 megabytes. You don't have to worry about that stuff so much these days. But yeah, back with like the official low-capacity memory cards, you definitely did have to delete stuff. And maybe you'd see these icons a hell of a lot more than you do now.
Growing up, I only had 2 memory cards. I had the one that came with my GameCube, which I think was a 50 block. And then I got like a 200 block memory card. Thankfully, that was all I ever needed. I didn't have like a crazy collection of games, but yeah, like saving your games used to be a luxury.
It's something I saw a bit more on the Wii as well, because the Wii animated these save file icons, and I used to put Wii save data onto an SD card and back them up and download other people's save files. So I'd see all those bits quite a lot, and one of my favorites has always been the Xenoblade one. And this is why the Wii game is still the best, because no other version of Xenoblade has an icon like this, where Ricky is just devouring himself into an endless black hole. It's one of the best save icons ever. And yeah, it's not in the Switch version, it's not in the Switch 2 version, not in the 3DS version. You have to play the Wii one for that Ricky that Ricky gif.
He's eating himself?
Yeah, check this out, Brandon. He's just in a constant loop of eating himself.
I need to see this. Hang on, I'm looking it up.
But there's other really cool icons as well. Like I remember, I think it was Sonic and All Stars Racing on the Wii had the Sonic Advance sprite for it for some reason. There's also one of the Sonic games also had just a 16-bit running Sonic. That might be Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. There's just a plethora of really unique icons that you probably won't see very often, and you probably won't find them on the internet much either because they're pretty obscure. But just flicking through the Wii menu, you're going to see lots of cool stuff there. And Wii's one of those systems where you didn't really have to delete save data because that was not taking up much. It was like the WiiWare and Virtual Console games, so you do accumulate a pretty huge amount of icons that you can just flick through. And yeah, some of them are really cool.
The Wii itself, in general, there's the channel setup of the menu. I don't know, like it was so like comfortable and cozy. The music kind of like disappears into the background, but like it's still really nice and soothing. I used to just sit on the Wii menu and just have it idle in the background while I was doing other stuff, and as a kid, just because I don't know, it was comforting.
I mean, Wii was like the first time, for Nintendo at least, where there was just more to do on that menu. Like, you can make a Mii, you can go on the internet, you can check the weather, you can go on the shop channel, you can look at photos. That's really where consoles became like multimedia devices, outside like DVD players, than just playing games. But one other really cool thing that we did was every single game had an introduction banner. So you put the disc in, and like you get the really loud Smash Brothers Brawl intro, or
blow your speakers out.
Yeah, or like the Twilight Princess intro, or every single game had this, and they had bespoke themes. They had their own little designs and animations. It's something like you can get like a big list of Wii ROMs and play them on Dolphin, and that's valid. But you do miss out on the charm of just like booting the game up and seeing like what the banner's gonna be this time.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like it upped the presentation value. Like you pull up the channel menu and like, here's this game that you're gonna play for the first time, and we're gonna punch you with new Super Mario Brothers Wii. It added so much character to every game. And some channel icons were gonna be better than others, but like I don't know, like some of them are burned into my memory. We mentioned the Brawl one earlier. That's probably the one I heard the most. But yeah. I remember like trying to play the game late at night, and I'd have to like mute my TV when I went to the channel screen because it's just crazy loud.
if people in live audience are just shouting out like sound bits they remember, like with smooth moves, it's a Wii, Wario, and then also like the Super Mario Galaxy one. I remember the Ballad of the Goddess in Skyward Sword, just like a really nice harp, very slow harp version that I don't think was actually in the main game. Like, I think that was just for the channel theme. There's lots of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really a treasure trove, and that applies to the other channels too, not just the game. Like the news and weather channels always feeling like really official and like you're logging in to watch the news.
We've talked about Nintendo a lot here. The other consoles definitely had this as well, and one of my favorites of all time is the PSP PS3 XMB, which just gave you instant access to everything. Like, you go to the games column, that's where your games are. You go to the movies column, that's where your movies are. You go to music, that's where your music is. And it let you customize it to such a cool degree as well. Because this was really the first system that had a large amount of themes that you could put on. And every theme would change not only the background, but also the icons. Persona 5 was a PlayStation 3 game originally, and you can get a Persona 5 theme, and all the icons change as well. So all the icons get themed around. So you go to the video bit, and that's all Persona-y now. Or the photo bit, and that's all Persona-y too. But you can also upload your own pictures, like put them on an SD card and look at them on your PS3, and then just decide, like, that's going to be my background now. So you can have, like, really, like, personalized backgrounds. So it's so nice to customize that, but it's also just one of my favorite UIs that any system's ever done.
It's funny that you talk about this one in particular because, you know, I missed the PS3 generation and the PSP, but I do have experience with this menu because my Blu-ray player used it.
That's so cool.
So, like, I know exactly, like, how to operate it because, yeah, the Sony-branded Blu-ray players, some of them use just the same the same user interface. You know, I would experience it over at friends' houses, and I always, like, looking in. I always thought it looked a little bare, or I guess would normie be a weird way to describe it?
I guess, yeah.
But no, I mean, it is really elegant. Like, you get to where you want to get really easily. Like, I remember that being a little confusing for me on, like, Xbox 360. I was such a Nintendo boy that, you know, any other device was so much harder for me to navigate.
Where's Mario? Where is he? I don't know where to go without Mario. What?
Yeah, I can't find him. He's gone. But because of my Sony Blu-ray player, I learned.
That's really cool. Hey, you spoke about 360 there as well. What interface are you speaking about specifically? Like, I guess, was that pre-Blades, or was that like the later dashboard?
I think it was one of the early ones. Because I'd only ever play these at friends' houses.
Yeah.
But back then, like, I didn't even really understand the concept of signing in. When someone handed me a controller and to sign in,
sure.
I was like, can't I just play? Can I just play the game?
Yeah. I remember when they did the next gen experience dashboard, and like for the first day, it was like, oh, look how sleek this is, and then everyone just sort of unanimously missed the blades because blades were so cool. You press RB and LB and you just flip between, you know, games, music, movie, kind of like PSP and PS3. It was really elegant. And there's a collection of XBLA games I have, like the Xbox Live Arcade Collection, which has like Pac-Man Championship Edition and Uno and a few things. And that disc retains the blades, so you can kind of get a little glimpse into how it looked in terms of the UI with that game. But that's like peak Xbox for me, so it's just really easy to get through everything. And now things are a little bit more hidden. Like when you turn on your Series X, you sort of, you know, you get your games at the start, and that's important, but to find like all the multimedia stuff, it's a bit more out of the way than it used to be.
I feel like that even like with the PS5, because technically like it is more organized because you have your games in one tab and then your media library in another, but like you have to scroll all the way to the end of the line on the home screen to get to the media library in the first place. And I don't know, I just wish it was more of a quick button press to switch between stuff.
Yeah. It's rare that I boot up my PS4 much these days because of backwards compatibility. But I did it recently to compare the performance of, I think was it Devil May Cry 5, I think it was, just to see how it ran on original PS4 rather than, PS5 boosting. And the UI experience, I think, is like universally better on PS4. The icons are bigger, they just look nicer. There's folders, which PS5 still doesn't have, so you can just put any group you want. Like, I've got it so like my indie games are in one folder and my retail games are in another folder. I've got like VR games in a different folder. It's really nice just to put things all in one place and organize them. But then PS4's also got a bunch of themes as well. So you can have just like the generic, blue theme or whatever else. But then you can also, like PlayStation 3, get all these game-specific themes. And a lot of the time you get themes for like pre-ordering a game. Sometimes they're on PSN. But you can really like make that thing your own. And they moved like vastly away from that with PS5.
Yeah, I particularly miss the PS1 and PS2 like anniversary themes.
Yeah.
Especially that PS2 one, because despite not playing it a ton as a child, I still have a lot of nostalgia for that boot sequence. Just like diving into the towers of your save data.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, PS5, it's so much more clerical. Is that a good way to put it? Like sanitized?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it definitely is.
Yeah, it's just that they've ripped the character out and also buried things in places where they're not super easy to find.
It took me a long time to get used to how they changed up just turning the system off. Because on PS4 you hold the PlayStation button down and then you just go to power off. It's like the first option. Now you got to press it once, go all the way along the line, or I guess just go from the left to the right, and then turn it off. It's like
they
a lot of stuff
it, right?
Yeah, a lot of stuff just is more out of the way now, and it is typically just kind of worse. But yeah, this is mostly about the joy of the UI, and I think a lot of that stuff is just being sucked out of PS5. Series X does have some themes. That's kind of cool. I use the original Xbox theme on that, so you get like the nice green background. That's pretty cool. But it's still no blades. I'll say that much. But what is?
I mean, I think the most fun I've ever had with a UI, maybe outside of like the Wii, is probably the 3DS.
Uh-huh.
The 3DS, I mean, also had themes, tons and tons of themes.
So many.
So much so that like it got to the point where I just had my themes set to random. So every time I opened my 3DS, it would just pick one, and it would be different.
Yeah.
But like the background would change, the music and sound effects would change. I remember the Majora's Mask one. It's the Song of Healing in the background, and then when you select an application, it plays like the bell toll of the clock tower, really loud. But man, I used to just close my 3DS and reopen it just to see which theme I would get, because I had so many.
Yeah. I use the Dreamcast theme primarily, and it's so cool because like you got the controller and memory card at the bottom, and every time you move around, they sort of jiggle like they do on the Dreamcast menu. And one of the best parts of that one is when you put your system in standby and then open it, it does like the beep for when you have no internal battery in your Dreamcast, and like you turn it on, it goes beep. It does that every time you take it out of standby mode. So there's so much charm in there, and every theme has these charms. But 3DS basically has everything we've praised every system for. It's got the banners that Wii's got, even cooler because they're full 3D polygonal models, which is also what PS2 has. It's like it's a mix of PS2 and Wii banner. And if you blow on them, like they spin around. There's 3D depth. Then they've got all those themes. It's got folders, and the folders change with the themes. It's got everything really.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like zoom out my bottom screen as far as possible just to like bask in all of my icons on my bottom screen, because I could fill out the whole thing, from like my ambassador program games, all my demos, all my 3DS download games, just my other applications. Like I used to watch Netflix on my 3DS. But like when you zoom out and the icons get really tiny, I really loved just seeing all that my little 3DS could contain. But there was the whole 3DS Badge Arcade application where you could basically play a gacha and get little icons that you could decorate your home screen with. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, 3DS also, it launched quite bare bones. Like, you didn't have a lot of this stuff. The eShop wasn't even there at launch. It wasn't active until like a few months after. So all you could really do was like the camera, face raiders, AR games. But as the months went on, like as the years went on, folders became a thing, themes became a thing. And it's not like it was flawless. Like, when you had lots and lots of icons, there was a performance dip on the menu. Like, things would start to lag a bit. And Switch prioritized speed over all that stuff. But there's pros and cons to each. Like, I love the charm and the personalization, especially with new 3DS, because not only could you customize the interior being your dashboard, but also the exterior being the actual system itself with the faceplates. So it felt like it was yours in such a neat way. Whereas like you fast forward to Switch and everybody's the same. Like, some people are dark mode, some people are light mode, but every system looks the same. And Switch 1 had like customizable Joy-Con colors. So I guess that was somewhat a thing, but for the most part, yeah, your system wasn't really like your personal system.
It's tough because I remember the Wii U being the slowest piece of junk.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Wii U. Go on.
And like navigating that thing, I've mentioned this I think on a recording before, but like I would turn my Wii U on and it would take so long to get into anything that like I would get frustrated and just turn it off before I even got into a game. And I don't hate like the Wara Wara Plaza. Like, you open up, you turn your Wii U on, and then you see all of the applications appear, and then a bunch of Mii's show up, and then the Miiverse starts popping up. Rip Miiverse. And I didn't hate it, but like it bogged the actual user experience down so much that I don't really have fond memories of it.
People talk about Wii U's UI with a lot of fondness, and I don't know. I think like you kind of get the least exciting parts of a lot of the systems. Like, every game icon, like, it's just that small square. So it's kind of what Switch is, but smaller. And they do have big banners when you boot them up, but you know, with PlayStation 3, if you hovered over an icon, you would get a big banner over it. PS5 and PS4 have big banners as well. So like, all that stuff isn't particularly unique to Wii U. And in terms of just the UI itself, like it's kind of like the Wii's interface, but I think less charming. Things take up less space, and they just don't really have that impact to them. They're not animated in the same way. I don't know. I think Wara Wara Plaza stuff's cool, Miiverse is cool, but the actual interface is so slow and not that interesting.
Yeah, I also disliked that the two screens got separated. I know that was like the Wii U's whole deal, but
yeah,
you know, sometimes I'd want to just select my icons on the TV and not necessarily on my gamepad. You could switch it, but I don't know. It never felt particularly elegant. And again, the speed really it bogged the whole thing down. And it was bad post speed update. I remember the Wii U got a speed update, and it was faster. They even added an ability to skip the Wara Wara Plaza altogether and load right into an application. See, not even Nintendo believed in Wara Wara Plaza.
No, you can hold down the B button as well when booting and go straight to Wii mode. So it's like just you don't have to keep like turning it on, like basically reset the system to get back into Wii mode. Yeah, they had a lot of shortcuts to bypass how slow it was. And also, like, everything was its own separate app, and this was true of 3DS to an extent as well. Like, the settings, you have to like boot it up and then wait for it to load. So there was a lot of weirdness there. And I do want to talk about the Switch a little bit, because it doesn't have customization. It's just black or white, and that's it. I do think the Switch, one thing it does have going for it is the sound design. Because you play around with any modern console, PS5, Series X, and every button press is kind of just one note. Like, it's accept or decline. It's a high-pitched beep or a low-pitched beep. Switch has a different sound for like every action. And I think that's actually really unique.
Yeah, you can actually navigate the menu by sound only, really, because each element of the menu has a different set of sounds that are associated with it. Like there's the wee sound when you like go to a profile. There's the clicks when you're going through your applications. And then the sounds change again when you're going like through the bottom dashboard. And each one of those icons has its own sound effect. And I think that changed specifically with the Switch 2 OS. It's not nearly as like bombastic and fun as something like the Wii menu or the 3DS menu. But there's a little bit of charm there that like my whimsy isn't gone, you know?
Yeah. Switch also does have folders that they're out of the way. Like you go to all your icons in your library, you tap R, and you can just put things into folders there. It would be nice if you could just put them on the front bit there and just access them easily, but it's still handy. It's nice. I have a folder called online favorites, which just has all my favorite online games in that I can quickly jump back into. That's neat.
Sure.
But it doesn't have the flavor though. I think it deserves a bit more recognition than it gets, but not much more.
I do want to give Switch some credit though. In the last like year, the Nintendo Switch Online app on the main menu has had so much more character. Like when the Galaxy ports were coming out, it became all Galaxy themed, and like there was colored Lumas on the screen. For the last couple weeks, it's been Splatoon themed. So and it changed. Like a couple weeks ago, it was more Splatoon 3-ish, and then in the last week, it became more Raiders themed. And like when you're scrolling up and down the menu, it splats the screen with ink, and you can basically cover the whole
that's
thing.
Really cool. Yeah. You know, speaking about themes actually reminded me a lot about how 3DS and Wii U would change their eShop theme depending on the season. Like you just get entirely new compositions. And one funny one was when Twilight Princess HD came along, they got rid of like the normal music entirely and just had Malomart be the theme for like months and months and months.
So funny.
Yeah. But that was cool though, like because everyone knows the Wii Shop Channel theme. It's iconic. There's no really one-upping the Wii Shop Channel. And 3DS and Wii U had some good ones, but there's like 8 of them, right? Like you can listen to a bunch of different variations on Wii U and 3DS.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. Chat's mentioning the Christmas one. That one stands out to me. Yeah, like I didn't love the Wii U eShop, like navigationally speaking, but I did love the music.
It helped that the Wii U had like very few games, so even if the organization wasn't great, you could still find stuff. But that's just by design of there not being much. But it sounds like we both kind of agree that 3DS was sort of the peak of this.
Yeah, I mean, it gave you the most customization, the most personalization, or in my case, like you just set it to random and just get a surprise every time you open your 3DS. I would love it if Switch and PS5 kind of added a little bit more character back in, as long as it doesn't come at the expense of performance, because after Wii U, I don't ever want to go back.
No, I'm the exact same. It's a shame that some stuff will just sort of be lost to time, like memory card icons, they're not coming back.
Right.
Customizable banners, I think we've lost them just in favor of icons. There's so many games these days that, especially with the digital only games on the eShop and PSN and Steam, that making like bespoke models for these banners isn't that realistic. So they just sort of crop the key art to a square. It's understandable, but I miss this stuff a lot because it did have a lot of really cool flavor, and just added more to these games.
I guess that's a point in favor to like the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine, because like you can customize the opening like boot movie.
That's
and there's
true.
there's a whole treasure trove of people's like silly boot movies. Like one is the intro to SpongeBob.
I've seen one person just had like the entirety of a movie playing as their intro, and you can't skip it. So you've got to watch the entire movie before you can do anything.
Yeah, so like it might be a little cumbersome and silly, but I love that the option's there and that you can be kind of ridiculous with it. So thanks Valve for keeping some of that alive.
Yeah. But, there's a lot of really cool stuff. There's a lot of systems out there with really unique features. So let us know if there's anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to mention in the comments. And thank you to Live Audience for joining us. Did you know you could be one of them? You can be just like them in that box down there by supporting us over on Patreon, where you can watch anything we record as we're recording it. You can see all the problems that we have and all the hiccups we do and all the edits that we cut out. They're all here. They get to see them all. So you can be just like them. And we appreciate you just for watching as well. So thank you for tuning in. And we will catch you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.